Over the last week, I've taken in a whole lot of interviews. I've taken in a whole lot of press conferences from Big Ten Media Days last week. Of course, earlier in the week on Monday, it was the Oregon Team Media Day in Eugene, and I've watched multiple minutes, maybe bordering on hours of all of this information and really trying to digest it in my brain. And I'm trying to come up with what are the big takeaways here and there. And I kind of think to myself, I'm like, there's one big takeaway out of all of this. And it really circles back to the beginning. It circles back to the beginning of Dan Lanning's press conference at Big Ten Media Days when he says, we're doubling down. That's the theme for this season. We are doubling down on the process. We are doubling down on the structure. We're doubling down because it works. What we've been able to do, what we've been able to build, the proof is in the pudding, as Dan has said before. And when I hear him kind of say and really have this doubling down theme, and it really oozes confidence. This team, and then it kind of goes down to the players as well, how they've been able to talk about this team. There is not a lot of uncertainty. Okay, this is a team, I think, that knows how good they are this season. And you might not know it if you kind of listen to the national media and they're saying, well, Oregon is losing. They've had the most NFL draft picks in their school's history. They're losing this guy. They're losing that guy. Josh Connerly goes off to the NFL. All of these things. But I think you kind of listen and kind of read between the lines, and your takeaways when you listen to these guys and some of the media interviews that we've had so far. Okay, you lose a Heisman finalist quarterback. We feel great about our room. Okay, a guy like Dante Moore might have as high a ceiling as we've seen since maybe the likes of Justin Herbert, okay? You lose another running back to the NFL, Jordan James, another 1,200-yard rusher. We have maybe the deepest backfield that Oregon has had in a very long time. You lose Evan Stewart to injury. We're confident that guys are going to be able to make plays. Like Kenyon Sadiq was asked that question, and a reporter was asking, like, was there a moment where you guys got together and kind of banded together and say, hey, we all need to step up? And kind of looked around and says, no, we know what we are. We know how good we are. We know what all of these guys in this room can certainly do. You lose 4 starters on the offensive line. We love our size. We're bigger than ever. Up front, it's just every answer for all of these questions, and we know there are a good amount of questions for Duck football this year. Every question has an answer. And I feel like it's had a very confident answer during these media days, which kind of got me thinking and pondering a little bit. They're confident, so I'm confident. And here are maybe the 4 things that I'm most confident in when it comes to these 2025 Oregon Ducks. Let's start with number 1, and it's the coaching staff. Look, when you have as good of a year that the Ducks had last year, you go 12-0 during the regular season, you win the Big Ten championship in your first year in the league, and really the first year of the super Power 2 version of the Big Ten Conference, and you have as much success as they did, and you lose all of the players that they did to the NFL, you might think, well, the coaches might go along with it. That wasn't the case. Will Stein is back. Tosh Lupoi is back, and there's a lot of position coaches. There is a ton of continuity on this coaching staff, and that is a big reason why I am confident that this coaching staff is going to be able to get the most out of these players this season. Like when you look at, they lost Junior Adams, okay, to the NFL, to the Dallas Cowboys. And Junior was a fantastic coach, but they replaced him with Ross Douglas, who had a receiving group that was part of the biggest offense, the most productive offense in college football last season. And Mike Cavanaugh is one that you could maybe throw in there, an assistant offensive line coach. I think then he goes to Oregon State, I think, to be the head offensive line coach. Like, those are the significant losses on this coaching staff. Like, these are guys that have recruited. When we talk about these young players having to step up, these are the coaches, the position coaches, the coordinators, and, of course, Dan. These are the guys that have recruited them. These are the guys that have developed them. And now these are the guys that are going to put them in a situation to be able to succeed. When you get like a new coordinator, at the very least, you're adjusting the scheme and maybe adjusting some terminology a little bit. And as some of these position coaches, you kind of have to, okay, this guy recruited me and he was developing now. Now I have a different voice in the room. Now things are a little bit different, and that's something I have to adjust to. But now all of these young players are like, yeah, I know Tony Tuioti. I know Brian Michalowski. Okay, I know Alik Terry. All right, I know Rashad Samples. I know Chris Hampton. Like, I know all of these guys and what they can do, and we've built relationships. And I think that's important towards getting the most out of this team, especially the young talent on the roster. That's the big thing. Oregon, when we talk about the retention as far as the players are concerned, they've done a really good job. Dan has done a really good job at making this a coaching destination. And if you leave the Oregon Ducks coaching staff, it's going to be for a hell of an opportunity, right? So I think like Dan can actually be able to sell that a little bit, be like, hey, this is a great place to be able to win some ball games and kind of elevate you to that next level as well. So this coaching staff gives me a lot of confidence that they're going to continue that upward trajectory that Oregon certainly has been able to go on. All right, let's kind of get to the players on the field. I'm really confident in the pass rush. I mean, when you look at all of the defense, there's going to be a lot of new players in the secondary. I know Betcher comes back in the linebacker room, and that's pretty good. You lose a couple of NFL draft picks on the defensive line, and Amari and Bear will probably be really good, but we just don't know, right? We just don't know because they haven't been there yet. But when you look at this edge room, this defensive end room, this pass rush that we're looking at for Oregon, it's the only position group that is returning both of its starters from last season. Of course, Mateo Uiagalelei and Tatum Tuioti. Like, you could, when you talk about confidence in the pass rush, you could be like, oh yeah, they got Mateo. They got one of the best pass rushers in the entire country. That alone might give me some confidence. But this is kind of piggybacking off of what I said with the coaching staff. Mateo, Tatum, Blake Purchase. I love Blake Purchase. Ashton Porter have all spent multiple years within the program. They have been recruited and they have been developed, within this Oregon program, right? There's not transfers in here. Like, this is a model of, I think, what Dan wanted to get to, now entering his fourth year, where this is a group that has been an in-house. They have been Ducks since day one, and now it's time to really show on the field just how good that you can be. So I love the depth in this room. I didn't mention Elijah Rushing as well out there. Like, the depth is insane. I think that this is a group that can throw it. This is a defense that can throw out a lot of packages. I think they can throw out like a NASCAR package with three edge rushers. I think you can get creative with what you have at the second level. Like, Blake Purchase can play an outside linebacker type of spot. I think Ashton Porter could probably play that spot as well. Like, I cannot wait. This is probably the group that I have the most confidence in on the defensive side of the ball. Let's move over to the offensive side of the ball, and there's two here. First one, I'm going to go with the rushing attack. You kind of look around at the offense. Look, I think Dante Moore is going to be really good at the least, but we got to go out there and see it. In a battle right now with Austin Novosad. Offensive line got 4 new starters. Now, offensive line is kind of play into how I feel about the rushing attack. So I will say that. So maybe talking out of two sides of my mouth with that one. Wide receiver, you're kind of leaning on a true freshman and a lot of unknowns to really step up and rise to the occasion. But I kind of look at this rushing attack, and it's the deepest room I think that Oregon has had in a long time, and you got a lot of different skill sets. Rashad Samples said in the spring, how can we get the NCAA to get 2 footballs on the field, to get all of these guys touches out there? Look at what Mekhi Hughes has done as like a power running back at the group of 6 type of level. I think, like, you look at his talent, you look at his production now getting over here to the Power 2 in the Big Ten at Oregon, and then you look at Noah Whittington. He's just an experienced back that's been through it all, and now he's fully healthy. Right, and then you look at guys like a Jade Lamar coming back with the long speed that he has, with Dink Riggs, who's also got some pop in his step as well. This is just a group that I think is going to be really good. I'm really confident that a lot of these guys are going to get in the fold this season. I'm really confident that this is going to be a fantastic rushing attack, and it's going to be a rushing attack that Dante in this past game, with a lot of newness, right, in terms of that they're going to be able to lean on, that they're going to be able to rely on, so not all of the pressure is built on them to be able to kind of go down the field. And then, this is a big offensive line. Like, Poncho coming back in the middle as that anchor at center. Emmanuel Pranon is a big boy. Like, Alex Harkey over at right tackle might be a better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. Okay, this offensive line, just the sheer size I think they're going to be able to move some big bodies up front, which are going to be able to open some run lanes as well. So very confident in what this rushing attack can be this season. And then I'm going to focus on a singular player. You know, I talked about confidence as the main central theme regarding the Ducks coming out of media days. I think another big takeaway that I had, and I mentioned this in my radio segment on 750 The Game last week, is just it's Kenyon Sadiq. Kenyon Sadiq, I mean, everybody was talking about Kenyon. If there was maybe a singular player that was talked about maybe more than others, it might have been Kenyon Sadiq. Like I think like this is a group, this is a team that is extremely confident in his unique unicorn-like ability. Like the thing about this is a player like this comes around once every so often. Okay, Brock Bowers is maybe the more recent comparison of what that type of player can truly be. I think he's going to help out Dante Moore a ton. We know the tight end can be a quarterback's best friend, but Kenyon can just do it all. I've raved about Kenyon Sadiq on the show before. I will continue to rave about Kenyon Sadiq, and I kind of watch him talk. I watched him talk and represent the Ducks at Big Ten Media Days, and then I watched him in Eugene at the team media days. He just seems like such a well-grounded and a motivated young man. And I think that's what you want. And he's just a very well-spoken young man. It's just like, yeah, you love to see kind of how he's kind of approached the media and how he, some of his answers would be like, yeah, he's looking to take this thing to the next level, but because he's going to remain extremely motivated to have the best season that he possibly can. So there's a lot of things I think to be confident about. Are there some questions to be answered? Yes, absolutely. But media days in the books. A lot of confidence surrounding this Oregon program.